Hello and welcome to the final update episode of 2019. It's been a hell of a year and I want to end it on a positive note. So today we're going to be planting some seeds. I'm going to be showing you what we're going to be putting inside my grow tent over there. What a year 2019 has been. We started off the year doing quite a lot of garden works. We put in some new paths, increased the size of the entertainment patio. We put up this shed, and the big thing for me obviously was putting in the polytunnel. And I had pretty good success, I think, with the polytunnel. It was a good first year. There definitely are some changes I'm going to be making in 2020, and we'll talk about that in a future video. But all in all, I had some decent harvests and it did a good job, kept the warmth, and had some good growth from my plants, so can't really complain. I am going to be doing a video in the future talking about the differences between greenhouses and polytunnels and which one maybe you should be looking at depending on your circumstance. So that's a video for the future. This year I also experimented with quite a few hydroponic systems. I built a couple mini hydroponic systems with a bit of automation to go into it, and also built a big hydroponic system that's been in the greenhouse the whole year. So I've been filming little segments throughout the year just on my observations and my opinions on things when it comes to hydroponics, and I'm going to be putting that together over the next couple of weeks as soon as I have a bit of time. The other thing I'm going to give you my final thoughts on is the Botanium system throughout the year, using the Botanium system, just a long-term review for the year. I filmed the final episode, my final verdict on the system, and I just need to edit it as well and get it out to you guys. I have quite a few video ideas that are coming up for 2020, not least of all the new beginner's guide to automation. I've been playing quite a lot with a few different systems over the last week or two and getting myself used to it, and I finalized pretty much the structure of how I'm going to be doing that beginner's guide for you guys, and it's pretty cool. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and hopefully you guys are going to have a lot of fun with it as well. We're going to end the year by starting something new. We're going to be planting a few seeds. So of course you would have seen in recent videos I've been showing you my shed that I'm in at the moment, and particularly the grow tent. I've been running a monitoring system inside the grow tent to see if I can keep the temperatures where I need them to be. That heating bar that I was using, that green ceramic one, it's not actually up to the task. It can raise the temperature by maybe 5 or 6 degrees Celsius, but that's not good enough. If we get down to -5, then I'm only going to be able to get this to about 0 degrees Celsius. So I've got another heating element coming. It should be arriving today. I'm waiting for Amazon to actually deliver it, and I'm sure that's going to do a better job. Today we're going to be planting 2 varieties of seed. I'm sure you guys have already guessed the one variety that I'm going to be planting, and that is my peri peri cross with lemon drop. So we've got the seeds in here. I've been soaking them in some tea. So if you watched some of my old beginner's guide videos to growing, then you'd know why I use tea, but I've been soaking that for about 12 hours, and that's the one variety we're going to grow inside this tent. I'm going to be using the tent to try and be quite aggressive with my timelines of growing this peri peri and lemon drop. I'm going to try and get through maybe 3 generations this year, maybe even 4. I don't know, we'll see. That'll be a bit of a challenge, but I think 3 is manageable, and that just means I get to get these to a stable sort of stage. The other seeds we're going to be planting are these peri peri seeds that I kind of smuggled back from Mozambique. It's a bit of a different chili than the one I grow myself, the other peri peri, but I managed to get some seeds from the source that we were given on the table. I couldn't get hold of fresh peri peri chilies themselves, so this is going to be a bit of a chance that I'm taking to see if these will actually germinate. The way that the sauce was made, 50% of it was cooked, 50% of it was raw, so I don't know. I might get lucky. We'll see. It'd be nice to grow another variety of peri peri, see if I prefer it to the one I already have. The one I have, I've been cultivating that for quite a few years now, and I know I have it growing quite well. It's acclimatized to my climate and my environment, and I get some great yields from it, and the flavors on it are amazing. But it's always nice to have a bit of a challenge like this one here. I have quite a few left over just in case we have any problems with this. I didn't want to take any chances, so I've got quite a few that are isolated, and we're going to start off about 10, maybe 12 seeds. We'll see what we do, but we're going to start off quite a few seeds so that we can see the strongest ones, the quickest to grow. We're going to keep those and then just keep on cycling them through till we get to an F9 generation. Also, we're looking for some interesting characteristics on the chilies that grow off of these. Hopefully it isn't a dud, and hopefully we get some interesting peppers off of it. This here is the system I'm going to use to start my seeds. So you would have seen me use this at the beginning of this year when I actually started all my seeds. I have 2 of these trays, and it's convenient and it works really well. And you know, when you're doing a lot of seed starting, you really can't go wrong with this. Okay, so what we're using are these small rock wool things over here, and they just go straight in to the holes. Pretty easy. And we'll see how many we need. Like I said, I'll probably do about 12 of these lemon drop cross peri peri, maybe a few more, but the other ones I'm going to have quite a few more because I really am not sure if I'm going to get any of these to germinate. It'll be a bit of a miracle if I do. But it'll be nice to get them to germinate because they were seriously hot. Though those ones from Mozambique were probably, I'd say, about 25%, 30% hotter than my peri peri. I mean, it's not all about heat, and to be honest, I'm not all about the heat when it comes to chilies. For me, the flavor means a lot as well, but you know, heat has its place as well, so it'll be interesting to see what we can do with that. So while I'm doing this, I thought I'd just talk about a couple other things that are happening next year. In my last video, I hope it was pretty obvious that I'm not just going to be doing automation videos next year. The automation video is just a new series I'm going to be doing, similar to the beginner's guide to growing and and making sauce that I did last year or the year before. It's similar in that sense. I just thought it'd be quite useful. I do get asked quite a lot to show people how I do my automation, so that's what that series is about. I have a couple other series that I'm obviously going to continue. My my series on checking out chilies, that will definitely be continuing. I actually have a few videos that I filmed. I just need to get those edited as well, where I've done the checking out chilies with ChilliChump episodes with a few of the other varieties that you haven't seen me try yet. So I probably should get those done as well. Again, it's all about time, finding the time to do these things. It is a challenge at the best of times, but I do have a busy job as well as trying to do what I'm doing here with the ChilliChump channel. But we'll get it done, don't worry, we will get it all sorted out. So what we need to do now, we need to fill the reservoir. There's the problem with not having a tap in the shed, is I'm working with buckets. So that there's 2 liters. That's 4. Okay, so it seems like it's 5 liters. So 5 liters. The reason we have to measure that is because of the nutrients we're using. We are using a hydroponics nutrients. This here is not the best nutrient to use to grow peppers. However, seed starting, it's absolutely fine and it does a great job. I will definitely be switching from my Vaxer to a better mix that I've been using in my greenhouse the entirety of 2019. But this here is perfectly fine for the vegetative stage. So, you know, from seedling stage, even up to just before the first flowers start. But at the time that the first flowers start, you want to move off of this. It just does not have the right mix. So let's have a look. This is what gets me with IKEA. So this is all the Vaxer range. This is all part of the Vaxer range. Now, like I said, this is 5 liters. I've just filled this up to the maximum level. This here, it says there 1 capful is for 6 liters of water. I mean, come on, surely you want to have some consistency here. It's like with IKEA, when you buy their beds and their mattresses, you end up you end up having to buy IKEA sheets and bedding because they have a little bit of a different size to the standard beds. Just, I don't know, never really understood it. Okay, so 1 capful for 6. You know, this is seedling stage, so actually it really does not need any nutrients, to be honest. But we're gonna put enough. It's probably the right amount for around about 4 liters of water. But like I said, you don't really need nutrients at this stage. So we'll just do that. It's nice and light, nothing that's gonna burn any roots when they do come through. So this just needs to soak for a little while, and we'll get that to do that now. What will happen is you can see the water coming up. It's actually quite handy, and if you are going to use this setup, don't fill up every hole with the rock wool. Leave at least 1 or 2, because that allows you then to not have to open up the base of this to fill with water. You can just pour it into one of these holes, and you can also see where the level of it is. So just getting that to slot in properly. There we go. Last year I did soak these inside a bucket, but this year I'm just going to let it do this. It'll pull the liquid up into these through the capillary action. So yeah, there's no need to go and soak them. These will do just fine. One change I will be making this year: when I planted my seeds last year in this system, basically some of the seeds, the roots were not going down into the rock wool themselves, and you ended up having a problem where the root was sitting up the top here, and yeah, you end up losing your plants like that. So what I will do is just open these up a little bit and get the seed to go inside, and then close up over. So we'll see how we can get that done easily. So I was going to mention to you, my wife has just started a new Instagram account called Mrs. ChilliChump, and what that will be is a little bit of behind the scenes of what goes on when I stop filming. You know, my poor wife has to do a lot of cleaning up after me, because inevitably when I've finished doing a video, I go straight up to my office and I start editing it, and it leaves her with the mess. She's quite a neat freak, and I'm very thankful that she takes care of me, looking after all the most of the cleaning in the house. I do try and do my part, but yeah, she'll do a bit of behind the scenes stuff, some interesting photos and opinions from her, I'm sure. So go and follow her on Instagram. Make sure you're following me as well, actually. I haven't really checked how many followers I have on Instagram, and try and be as active as I can on Instagram. I'll try and do more of that this year as well. Get some more photos up there and share with you guys what's going on. I'll put a link down in the description below to her channel, but I think if you search Mrs. ChilliChump, you'll be able to see. She's also started a YouTube channel, but she won't be putting out videos. I think she did that just so she can comment on my videos that I put out, or when I'm doing live streams, she can help out with some of the admin stuff, and she can answer some of your questions when I'm not able to. So when it comes to live streams, I will be doing more of those this year, and I've been enjoying doing them. I've done, I think, what's it now, 3 or 4, and I'll try and keep that up. So I think my schedule at the moment is about 1 of these live streams every last Sunday of the month, and I'll try and vary the time of it, because I know that some of you are not necessarily in my time zone. I know that people in Australia are battling to watch my live stream because it's very early in the morning for them. So I need to figure out how I'm going to make that fair so as many people as possible can actually watch it live. I know you can watch a recording of it, but it's not exactly the same, is it? So I'm trying something new here. I know I'm using scissors. I don't have anything else here at the moment, but these will do the job. Shouldn't damage the seeds as long as you don't put too much pressure on the seeds. But there we go. I don't think I've missed any. So got a few left to go. Be really interesting to see if these do actually germinate. Something else I'm considering doing this year is redoing my From Seed to Sauce series. That's my beginner's guide to growing peppers and making sauce. And the reason for that is, since I did that first series, which people are still watching and hopefully still getting a lot of use out of it, number one, I've learned a few things. Things like lighting have come a long way since that series. I know it's only been just under 2 years, but things have moved on quite rapidly in the world of grow lights. So that part definitely needs to be updated. And the other thing is, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and the the video quality, I was still learning. Well, I am still learning. I'm always learning about editing, filming, trying to get things looking good so that it's pleasing for you guys to watch. The audio as well, making sure that is decent. And I just every time I do actually catch myself watching one of those videos, I cringe a little bit, because I just know that I want to improve quite a lot of what I've done in those videos. So I probably will look at redoing it, not just a complete copy of what I did before. I'll definitely improve quite a bit of it and make it a bit more accessible for you guys, maybe a bit more succinct as well, so that I don't drag on. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Again, it's just about time, finding the time to do it, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm pretty sure if not this year, then definitely will be 2021. So when I say this year, I mean 2020. And yeah, I'll consider how I do that. If there are other video series you guys would like me to do, let me know. I think I'm pretty full up with different series already, but if there's something else that maybe you'd like to see more of, let me know. I do have obviously my series on my worms, but those are pretty infrequent. I think it's quite a niche area of gardening. Not everybody wants to have a worm farm, even though they do make fantastic compost. But I will do some more videos on my worms, but probably when it comes into the springtime, I'll do a couple videos when we do a bit of a worm compost harvest, or vermicompost harvest. I will be filming that as well. I don't know what I'm actually expecting. You can never really tell when you make a cross. You know, I can make a cross with my peri-peri, cross with a lemon drop, and somebody else could do exactly the same cross, but what you get out of it at the end could be completely different. And that's the joy or the frustration, I guess, of crossing chilies, is you never know what you're going to get. I know I get a lot of people commenting or messaging me, emailing me, asking about maybe doing a cross of like a bell pepper with a Carolina Reaper, because they think they're going to have a sweet Carolina Reaper that's huge like a bell pepper. It doesn't really work that way. You could just as easily get a bell pepper that looks like a Carolina Reaper but has no heat. So you know, you gotta take a chance and see how it goes, and also you have to, you know, hope that it doesn't revert back to type after a couple generations, because that's also a risk. I could, for example, grow a couple of these here that I like the look of, and they might have an amazingly cool looking and tasting pepper, and I end up going through the generations and we get to maybe generation 6 and it reverts back to being just a peri-peri. You know, that is a risk that you take, and probably one of the biggest frustrations when doing this. That's why it is actually a numbers game. When you're doing this, strictly speaking, this isn't actually a lot at all. I probably should be growing about 50 of these here alone, and then growing those 50 on and getting seeds. And you know, you end up, when you get to the 9th generation, you could end up with a plant that, well, you could end up with something like 500-600 plants, or even more than that, just to get to a point of trying to get the chili that you want and the heat that you want and the flavor that you want. So I'm doing this very small scale, but it's worth a try anyway. We'll see how we get on. So while I was filming, like I thought, the new heater arrived, so I'm gonna get rid of this bar heater, which does a fine enough job. I think it'll keep frost away, and I think that's all it's really for, but it's just not up to the job of what I'm trying to do here. So we're going to take that out, and we're going to stick in this new one. So I chose this here. This is basically just a small oil heater. I wanted something that wasn't too high on the wattage. This here is 800 watts, so it's definitely higher than the other bar, but also wanted something that could maintain the heat quite well. I'm still going to use that over here to switch this on and off. I know it has a thermostat, but I'm just going to leave it on high and let that thing control it. I don't want to rely on this over here. So we're going to stick that down below here, and hopefully you don't trip anything. I don't think it will. I've got this well sorted out. So there we go. I think I need to try and hook this up somewhere to keep it out the way. Yeah, it's coming up to temperature. And this here is another benefit of having these holes open. I can actually monitor the temperature inside there. Just gonna get that lid on. So the temperature of that water at the moment is 9.2 degrees. Take a look up there. 9.2 degrees, and we'll get that temperature up. That's come up to temperature quite quickly, so it'll be interesting to see. I have been monitoring this with the system here. I actually have this all set up now on the system I'm going to be using when I give you guys the beginner's guide series, and it's working quite well. So I will keep on monitoring, and we'll see the difference that that new heater makes. It'll be quite interesting. I should probably put this out the way as well, just so that we don't have this heat mat interfering with it. And there we go. There's only one last thing to do here. It's not important for me to do it right now, but I'll get it set up anyway, and that is my light. So you obviously don't need any lighting until a bit later on, once the seeds have actually done their thing and germinated, and you've got the first set of true leaves. But it's not going to harm anything if I get this set up in the meantime. So here we have the Spider Farmer, and I'm only using this because The other one that I was provided, the guys from Mars Hydro that they sent me, it's too long for in here. They were going to be sending me another light to compete with this one, just to see the difference between the two, but I haven't yet received it. So if you guys are watching this, don't forget to send me that light if you want me to compare it to this one. So that is going to hang up there. Let's just get it on the hangers. Put this aside for now. Yeah, these things don't hook directly on here. Okay, I'm gonna have to get some wire or something. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna use these zip ties, I think, for now. It'll be interesting to see how bright this is. I know it is actually quite bright. I've already tested it before, but let's just plug it in, see what it does. Wow. Yeah, you ain't going to be able to see anything with that. There you go. Yeah, that's bright. Really, really bright. If we look outside now, I'm sure it's going to be dark, because it's actually not dark, it is still daylight, but yeah, this thing is seriously bright. Quite impressed with that. So it'll be interesting once we get some leaves starting over here, then we'll get the light switched on, but for now I'm gonna switch that off. There we go. So yeah, it's quite impressive. I'm sure that's also going to add to the heat in here, so yeah, we'll see how that turns out. That's it for this video, and also for 2019. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me this year. It's been an amazing year. I hope that you have a fantastic New Year's celebration, and I hope that 2020 is just incredible for all of you. I look forward to seeing you in the new year, and until then, stay spicy.